This is BBC News with the latest headlines for viewers in the UK and around the world. The search for hundreds of people still missing following devastating floods in Germany and Belgium continues. The German president has been visiting one of the stricken areas.
Our country stands together during this time. I'm very pleased to see just how much sympathy and solidarity is being shown, not only here in the region, but also throughout Germany.
And I'm Kasia Madera in Erfstadt, where the president was speaking, one of the worst impacted towns in this disaster in Western Germany.
The UK's Health Secretary Sajid Javid says he's tested positive for coronavirus and is experiencing mild symptoms.
I was feeling a bit groggy last night, so I took a lateral flow test this morning and it's come out positive. So I'm now self-isolating at home with my family until I get the results of a PCR test.
Olympics organisers announced the first case of coronavirus in the athletes' village 6 days before the Tokyo Games begin. A new round of Afghan peace talks get underway in Qatar between Afghan leaders and the Taliban. What can they achieve? We hear from our correspondent in Doha. And why the world's new space race is all about getting technology rather than people up into orbit around the Earth. Hello and welcome, I'm Martine Croxall. Rescue crews have been racing to find survivors after the floods that wreaked havoc in Germany and its western neighbours, Switzerland, Luxembourg and the Netherlands. At least 160 people are so far known to have died across Europe, some 140 of them in Germany alone. Hundreds remain unaccounted for and thousands are now homeless. Thousands of residents of Wassenberg, an area west of the German city of Cologne, have left their homes after a dam was breached by floodwater overnight. German officials say the country's flood warning system functioned as it was supposed to, but the amount of rain and how rapidly it fell was unforeseen. Let's cross now to the village of Erfstadt and join my colleague Kasia Madera. Kasia.
Martine, Erfstadt is one of those places just up the road from here that has been hugely impacted on a number of different levels. Not only was there a landslide near a quarry, buildings in the very town centre itself have collapsed, and also we've been monitoring this rescue salvage operation here throughout the day on this bypass, a dual carriageway just leading up to the town itself, which had up until a few hours ago been completely flooded. The waters have been slowly receding throughout the day, and then the army, along with fire services and rescue emergency personnel, removing vehicles. Earlier on, we had that grim operation of rescue teams searching for the possibility of remains. Thankfully, that wasn't found here, but there are other places across this region where people simply did not escape their cars in time as the huge surges of powerful water gushed through, moving cars as if they were simply toys. When it comes to Erfstadt itself, the president of the country has been here. He's been expressing his condolences and also expressing his support for this area, for this region.
This is a time of distress, and our country stands together during this time. I'm very pleased to see just how much sympathy and solidarity is being shown, not only here in the region, but also throughout Germany.
So the German president there talking about the solidarity for this area, these two states in Western Germany that have been hugely impacted. And like I say, the rescue operation is immense. Over 20,000 workers have been mobilised. The army is here, the police force are here as well, and the fire service, a lot of volunteers as well who are doing everything they can to help those people who have lost so much. The death toll in Germany is the highest, but of course neighbouring Netherlands also impacted, and also Belgium as well. The town of Liège has been really severely impacted. My colleague Anna Holligan is there.
This is the River Meuse, and if you look carefully here you can see some of the debris that's being carried downstream, and the smell of oil, the stench, is something that you can smell all around here. This is the Belgian city of Liège, and rescue workers were sent from Italy, France and Austria to help with the recovery effort here and the evacuations too. Most people are now returning to their homes, but the Belgian Prime Minister has declared the 20th of July a national day of mourning. At least 20 people have been killed here alone. They say they have never experienced catastrophic floods of this scale before. Now, across the border, not far from here in the Netherlands, the emergency services are still trying to reconnect the power supplies. But there, so much of the country lies 10 metres below sea level. They have so much experience and talent in managing the rising tides. And what the last few days has demonstrated, this extreme rainfall, that even the most sophisticated technology will struggle under this kind of pressure. Experts have said it should be a wake-up call. Politicians across the continent have blamed climate change. But what so many people in this region, here in Liège, in Limburg, which has been classified as a disaster area, and beyond, what they want to know now, they want assurances from those politicians that something like this can never happen again.
And it's those assurances that the people in Western Germany also want to hear. A lot of questions as to how so much rain has caused so much destruction. It was 2 months worth of rain falling in the space of around 24 hours, a lot of it overnight. It just caught people completely unawares. So my colleague Chris Fawkes from the BBC Weather Centre has been looking into the weather systems and how this happened.
Well, we'll take a look at the radar picture first, Kasia, and you can see this line of rain that developed across West Germany, across parts of Belgium, Netherlands, working into France, even parts of Switzerland as well. And just look how slow moving this band of rain is. We had several pulses of truly torrential rain. It was kind of locked in the same kind of area. How much rain fell? Well, to the southwest of Bonn in Germany, we had 158 millimetres of rain recorded in places, and the majority of that fell in just 12 hours. Meanwhile, in parts of Belgium, they had up to 270 odd millimetres of rain over a couple of day period, so over 48 hours, and that's what brought the catastrophic flooding. Now, why did that rain become slow moving, torrential, and locked in the same kind of place? Well, it was down to the jet stream, and we had this upper area of low pressure across Western Europe, and because of the broad pattern, the big waves in the jet stream, that low couldn't actually move from where it was. And as well as that, we had big temperature contrast in Europe, cool fresh air across the northwest, but temperatures into high 30s across eastern areas. We had some very humid air then that got pulled around this area of low pressure from the Mediterranean in across northern Germany and fed into this area, which is where the winds kind of converged together. So in many ways, it was a perfect storm. These torrential downpours were locked in the same place for hour after hour after hour.
BBC weather presenter Chris Fawkes. Kasia, the rescue teams, the search teams must be absolutely exhausted. How long are they likely to have to continue their work for?
Well, the rescue operation is incredibly efficient. Over 20,000 rescue services have been mobilised to deal with this, but the scale is absolutely huge, and I think that a lot of people are just simply stunned as to the level of destruction. Just even looking at this road earlier on, we had articulated trucks one on top of the other. That's how powerful this flash of water was. A lot of question marks as to why the warning services were not alerted, why there was just not a bigger mobilisation of people to leave their homes. But at the moment, I think the main priority is to find those who are still unaccounted for, who are still missing. Those numbers are dropping as the mobile networks are re-communicating people with their loved ones. But of course, we have to think also about the people who have lost their lives in this. There is a sense of shock and a sense of real deep concern as to how this was allowed to happen, and a lot of question marks and a lot of hope that it will just simply never happen again. But the rescue operation very much at the beginning of what will be a long salvage and recovery and a rebuilding process that is estimated to go into the billions of euros to get this country back together again.
Kasia, for the moment, thank you very much. Kasia Madera in Erstadt in Germany.